That's CJ on the track.
Black Scully on check. Got a little Michael Jordan jersey on check. Welcome to another marvelous episode. On today's docket, we got so much to talk about today, but before we get into today, I can finally announce that tomorrow we are releasing our first ever poll here at CFB Nation. The CFB Nation poll, the preseason poll, is coming out tomorrow. I've been kind of teasing this thing. I never told you guys a release date of when exactly it was coming out, but the CFB Nation poll is coming out tomorrow. We will debut it on this show tomorrow. Also, shout out to the good guys over at Bull Rush. We are debuting our Build Your Own competition over there at Bull Rush. And you guys, for the first 3 weeks, will have an opportunity to sign up for free. You get $100,000 in virtual money, and you use that to build your pick'ems. And the person that finished highest will win $100. So it's a daggone good competition. And if you think you know ball, you should sign up for this competition and try to get this money. So shout out to Bull Rush. Shout out to the squad at CFB Nation, man. I'm super proud that we have our poll. We will be releasing it every week. And I think our poll, just because of the ideology of us being one percenters, will probably look different from everybody else's poll. And keep in mind, it's not a rating. As we see, some people poll is just an actual ranking, like the AP poll or the coaches poll. We are ranking the teams based on what we've seen. So that's the type of poll it will be. So let's get into what's on today's docket. I'm excited for this episode. So for Into the News, we're going to cover 6 topics as we always do. Lane Kiffin pokes a little bit of fun at Auburn. That's funny. The play calling by committee thing, that is hilarious. If this doesn't work, it's going to be scary. I am not gonna lie. If it doesn't work, it's gonna be extremely scary. This not reading right. I don't think it shouldn't be ending in a 3. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, never mind. Don't worry about me. I'm looking at the wrong thing. So he pokes fun at their play calling committee. It's hilarious. Like, Lane Kiffin doesn't miss, and this came out late last night. Michigan State freshmen, we're going to talk a little bit about them, about Jayden Savoury and Jace Clarizio making early camp noise. Also, Joel Klatt says Nebraska's almost ready to crash the CFB party. Everybody knows about the Matt Rule Year 3 rule, so if you're betting high on a team in Lincoln this year, it wouldn't be a bad year based on the history and what we've seen with Matt Rule. Also, Dog Russo unloads on Penn State being number 2 in the AP poll. Mad dog, why you mad, dog? Just be careful and make sure you know what you're talking about when you step into this college football sphere. I love what you do with baseball, I love what you do in the NFL, but this college football playboy, so make sure you know what you're talking about. So that segment is going to get unchy. I'm letting y'all know now. For people who are questioning Penn State being number 2 in the AP ranking, are you questioning the roster construction? Are you questioning the coordinators? Are you questioning James Franklin? If you're questioning James Franklin, make sure you separate that. Based on what we've seen with this team did make the Big Ten championship last year, right? Few plays away from beating Notre Dame last year in a quarterfinal. Like, let's stop sitting here and pretending that Penn State's not a good team. So, mad dog, why you mad, dog? That's the only question I got. West Virginia, looks like they're going to lose running back Jaylan Knighton. Nothing is final yet, but that's just what the news look like. He might be, academically ineligible. I remember where I met like Jalen and Moon and Brad and Steez is when I was streaming. This is before I was even playing Revamped. I met them all back in 2020, and I was streaming NCAA 14 on Xbox 360. This is before the Revamped community, and I used Miami, and Jaylan Knighton was the running back that I think I ended up winning a Heisman with. So it's sad to see, but hopefully they're able to figure something out. And then our 6th story, Mike Elko talks about Texas A&M secondary. So that'll be talking about what we talk about into the new segment. For Governor Reacts, we're going to react to the JP poll tomorrow. I wanted to react to Bud Elliott's playoff bracket. I really did, but I was like, I never reacted to the JP poll, so we're going to react to the JP poll. Keep in mind that Josh Pate's poll is a rating. It's not a ranking. There's a difference. There's a huge difference between ranking and rating. And shout out to K Ford, who, for my money, does the best rating system in all of college football. Shout out to him because he explained that to me a few years ago when I had him on the show. I actually haven't had him on the show in a while. I gotta get K Ford on the show. Governor ruling. We're gonna talk about SEC football any given Saturday, episode 3. I told y'all we're gonna slow walk this. This is gonna be over the duration of a couple of episodes only because it deserves that time and attention. Now, next week, we're going to have a lot to talk about. My playoff bracket is being released next week. The winners I think they're going to win each conference will be released next week. I already told you guys the CFB Nation poll, preseason poll, is coming out tomorrow. And then it's a game week, of course, so we got a lot of predictions to make. And where we'll be, if you've been paying attention, you already know where we're going to be at for week 0. Or at least have some sort of idea, because I'm not even 100%. So we got a couple of options, to be honest with you. For Governor Ruling, we'll talk about my thoughts on Any Given Saturday, episode 3. And it was a really good episode. And I'll tell you now, spoiler alert, it A+ for me for that one. And then also we're going to get into some fall camp intel, of course. So it's going to be a great episode, man. You guys get ready. We got another hour of Governor College Football. It's Thursday. It's 11 a.m. You guys already know what it is. Governor College Football, hashtag go CFB. CFB Nation, your only college football destination. Let's get it. Governor of College Football. We're going to recap ACC.
Hey, that's CJ
Great defensive
on
minds.
the
They have to be better on that side of the ball. Thursday, August 14th. I actually am excited today because I'm going to local high school with some scrimmages, JV and varsity scrimmage today that I'm going to. From one school that's kind of in the King George area, probably past King George, to be honest with you, and another local school out this way. One of the players I followed a little bit last year, interested to see what he does in his junior year, and his little brother is the quarterback for the junior varsity team. So I'm going to go check them out, see what that's looking like. But it's a beautiful day here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Hopefully it's a beautiful day where you guys at. Make this day productive, and let's, most importantly, get into the news. Lane Kiffin trolls Auburn. This is hilarious. I love college football, and I love the messiness of college football. I really do. And I know we all remember during the playoff where Lane Kiffin went on this trolling run of, why there should have been more SEC teams in the college football playoff, right? After we saw some early blowouts in the first round of the playoff, and then we saw Joe Klatt, clap back at Lane Kiffin. But he did say that, Lane Kiffin was an elite tweeter and all of that. So Auburn's got a new twist on play calling. Derek Nix will handle first downs. It scares me. Ken Austin calls third downs. Hugh Freeze can overrule anything. Lane Kiffin caught wind and fired back on social media asking if there's a fourth coach that's going to handle fourth down. Yikes. This is unprecedented. I'm not sure if this happened before. Now, we see in college football, it's very much the norm, right, to have 2 offensive coordinators, right? That is very much the norm. But typically, you see it done the way that Kirk Cignetti did it at Indiana last year. Mike Shanahan is the offensive coordinator overall. Tino Sinceri will focus. He will be the passing game coordinator. So what the passing game coordinator's responsibility was just simple. Hey, let's develop the best concepts against this defense. You'll introduce those concepts or give those concepts to Mike Shanahan. But at the end of the day, Mike Shanahan calls the play. And, of course, at the end of the day, the head coach will always say, hey, we can go for it here. Or depending on how close, you even let the coordinator know, hey, depending on how close we get on third down, you may have 2 plays here. That's typically how the communication go. So, and while Lane Kiffin was joking, right, sometimes there's a lot of truth in a joke. This seems like a nightmare that's waiting to happen. It really is. I look at the talent that's on this Auburn team. I looked at the ability to recruit. They got a stud at quarterback now. I haven't liked who Hugh Freeze has had at quarterback his entire tenure there. I thought he had an opportunity to get Caden Salter last year. That didn't happen for without whatever reason, right? But he had an opportunity to get him a season ago. So I look at the team, and I say, hey, this is a really talented team. This is a team that should be able to compete in the SEC. They really should be able to. But when I see stuff like this, and this is when I start to say, okay, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So, like I said, we look at jokes, and a lot of times jokes always have an undertone of truth in it. But the fact that you're going to have, a coach calling play on this down, another coach calling play on this down, this better work, bro. I hate the 2 quarterback systems, right? I've said it before. I hated when Florida did it last year. I forgot what game it was with DJ Lagway and Graham Mertz, right? I hated it when Steve Spurrier, now you guys know I'm a huge Steve Spurrier fan, but I hated when he did it with Jesse Palmer and Doug Johnson, right? What I hate worse is that, if you want to have two coordinators, somebody's got to be the guy. Somebody's got to call the plays. The other guys can help week in, week out. Hey, this is what I'm seeing. I'm not sure if you saw this. Boom, give suggestions, and then go right on your merry way, right? That's the way it should work, idealistically. But to sit here and say, hey, well, Derek Nick's going to handle first down, Ken Austin to call third downs, this is stupid. This is stupid. This is incredibly stupid. And it better work. Or Hugh Freeze, you're out. It's that simple. This better work. You have the talent, right? People have been critical of you playing a lot of golf, right? I'm cool. Long as you get the results on the field, they ain't none of my business. You had a right to enjoy your summer just like everybody else. When they go on vacation, get to enjoy their summer, right? But at the end of the day, I don't like this play calling thing. I don't like it at all. I don't like it in the least bit. So Lane Kiffin is trolling. We're laughing, ha, ha, ha. But there's some truth there. There's some undertone there. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. Let's go ahead and get to the next story. Let's talk about some freshmen out there that's balling in East Lansing. Year 2 under Jonathan Smith. When I say that there's a team that you see so much potential in, it's this team in East Lansing. It really is. I got to see them up close. I got to see Aiden Childs up close, and I got to see the type of leader that he was, that, even if something wasn't his fault, he would take accountability for it. Like, yo, we'll get it the next time. That one was on me. I could have had better ball placement there in the entire time. Like, the defense get a stop. He's hyping up the defense. These are the type of things you see on the sideline that you necessarily, when you're at a game, that you don't necessarily get to see on television. Sometimes they show it, but it's difficult because you guys want to see the action, right? Y'all don't care about that type of stuff. But it's stuff that, TV timeouts. You get X amount of time. So we're in stadium. You guys are watching commercials or, refilling your beer, getting some more potato chips, whatever you've been snacking on. But at the game, it's real time. So, we're just trying to, so I'm watching all of this stuff that's happening on the sideline. But, yeah, Jonathan Smith said 2 freshmen are standing out early. Tight end Jayden Savoury, a 2-sport athlete who could have played college basketball, is bringing in both hands of physicality. Running back Jace Clarizio, the hometown back, is learning to plant and get tough yards instead of bouncing everything outside. Michigan State's rebuild might have you've ready to play sooner than expected. This is what you want. You want, when the college football started moving to where we got a lot of early enrollees in, kids said, well, forget prom, forget this, forget that, right? I'm going here for half a year. I'm going to play football. Then I'm going to, in January, I'm going to be at the school that I'm supposed to be at. That way I can get those spring camp reps in. And then fall camp, my eyes aren't as wide. Things start to make sense, and you can really build upon what you did in the spring. So I'm happy for Jonathan Smith, and I hope him and Aiden Childs and Nick Marsh, I hope them guys just have a year this year. I really do. Joe Klatt, Nebraska, just outside of college football party crashers. He did a segment, for party crashers, people who can crash the college football playoff party. And it's crazy that we're in this era of we're probably going to get more teams soon. I think that is nothing out of the ordinary, something that, we haven't heard. But if you think about when we did have a 14 playoff, right, what that looked like. For me, it looked like we can pretty much guess 6 teams, right? Off the back, we can name 6 teams that got a legitimate shot, right? But then we could probably go as far as 12 teams who have an opportunity to make that 14 playoff. With here, I think it's really... it's a lot more teams that have an opportunity to make the playoff, and I think that's what, executive director of the College Football Playoff Committee, Rich Clark, wanted. They wanted, hey, anybody got an opportunity to make the college football playoff. And they say it at the G5 level, but they mean it. Like, if you are the best G5 team, you will get your opportunity. I have voiced my opinion on the fact that there should probably be a G5 playoff. That's neither here nor there. It really is. At the end of the day, it's neither here nor there. But Rich Clark, the College Football Playoff Committee, their ideology is, hey, everybody has a chance to make the college football playoff. But we know we could probably narrow it down to about 25 to 30 teams, right? Maybe 32 teams that have an opportunity to be in those 12 slots. And it could be even wider when you look at the layout of how many teams to get in of each conference, right? At the P4 level, right? And then you look at a conference like the Big 12, where there's like 5 or 6 teams we're talking about that could possibly win the Big 12. So the gap is a lot wider. I feel like more people are confident heading into the season. And many teams thoroughly feel like you're telling me the team in Nashville right now really don't feel like they got college football playoff expectations? I thought it was hyperbole before, right? It's just something that you say. It sounds good, right? But listening to Clark Lee on an episode of any given Saturday, the SEC football, episode 3, which we're going to talk about in great detail later, hearing the Clark Lee speak, I'm like, yeah. Clark Lee has another Clark Lee on the field, right? And quarterback Diego Pavia. Because they really believe it. This is not something that they're just saying. They truly believe they have an opportunity to go to the college football playoff. So, does Nebraska have an opportunity to go to the college football playoff? Absolutely. Absolutely. I like what Matt Rule is doing in Lincoln. So, Joe Klatt, I don't think he's far off with what he's saying. Really. Dylan Raiola is real deal. He really is. He really is. So, it'll be interesting to see what they look like. Joe Klatt said they have a schedule that can set them up to start the season 7-1 before November gauntlet of USC, UCLA, Penn State, and Iowa. That's a tough stretch. It really is. And people keep sleeping on UCLA. I want you to. I dare you to. So Mad Dog, why you Mad Dog, explodes over Penn State being number 2 in the AP poll. All right. See, me, I try to choose my words carefully, man. But Chris Mad Dog Russo lost it on First Take when Penn State debuted at number 2 in the AP poll. His gripe, James Franklin offers in big games. He doesn't buy Drew Allen in the clutch and thinks history, not roster talent, should weigh more. Paul Feinbaum agrees, saying Penn State may be great on paper, but Franklin still has to prove it, right? Listen, let me tell y'all something. I hate when shows that traditionally don't talk about college football, right? And we know First Take, we get the entire setup, the entire gig of First Take, right? The ideology of First Take, I feel like they have so many different niches. But you can break it down that First Take is a sports talk show that is based on debating. That's what the show is. That's what the log line of the show is. And then, of course, it's Stephen A. Smith, a myriad of guests. And, of course, you got the host. And for some reason, I forgot her name. That's crazy. But that tells you how often I watch the show, right? And the basis of the show is to debate. And then, of course, they'll have, like, Adam Schefter come on. They'll have, like, Mad Dog. And I think Mad Dog is hilarious. I've seen a lot of the clips. I don't watch the show, but I've seen a lot of the clips. I think he's hilarious. I shouted out Stephen A. Smith yesterday. I'll shout him out again. He has been great for what we do here. A lot of us don't have the opportunities what we do without Stephen A. Smith. I will say that. I will give him his flowers in that regard. But historically, that's not a college football show. And you know when they're going to talk college football topics, they'll bring on, like, Paul Feinbaum, right? And then, like, they'll talk about it, and then it's like, you can tell they'll talk about it a little bit, like, during baseball season or whatever. And sometimes they'll talk about it, like, in season, like, now with Colorado's popularity, of course they talked about it more. But, you know, at the end of the day, college football ain't their wheelhouse. It's not what they do. That's like me trying to go on there and talk about baseball. Like, do I keep up with baseball? A little bit. I watch some of the World Series and some of the postseason, but other than that, like, I'll keep up with it because, you know, I go on websites all the time. But other than that, I ain't going to go in there and pretend to know what I'm talking about. That's just not what I'm going to do. I keep up with the Buffalo Bills. Do I keep up with the NFL? A little bit, but I mostly keep up with the Buffalo Bills. I can go in there and talk about the Buffalo Bills all day, but I'm not going to go in there and pretend to be a know-it-all with that. So when you're talking about college football, y'all make sure y'all know what the hell y'all talking about. Excuse my French, but please make sure you all know what the hell you're talking about. To sit here and continue to get on James Franklin, yo, we get it, bro. We get it. But don't take it out on these players. Don't take it out on the fact that they have one of the best coordinator parents in all of the sport. Like, why do we just omit these facts when we're talking about a team? Your coach may have chinks in his armor, right? We looked at Ryan Day. How many people were sick of Ryan Day in Columbus over the last few years? Well, I mean, we just don't trust him. We just don't think he can win the big one. He's struggling against Michigan. What did he do the year before they won it all last year? He went and got a hotshot offensive coordinator in Chip Kelly. That's what he did. And he put money into this team, into his program. Well, hell, didn't James Franklin just do the same thing? Is Drew Allen not one of the best quarterbacks in the country? Do they not arguably have the best running back room in the country? Is their wide receivers not improved? Jim knows is a defensive coordinator, so we know what the defense is going to do. Y'all sit here and talk about this team and talk about he thinks history, not roster talent. So the reason why a lot of people are predicting that Texas Tech is going to be better this year is roster talent. So the reason why a lot of people like myself think Baylor's going to win a Big 12 this year is roster talent. Of course, coaches play a huge role. I promise you this. The Buffalo Bills lost 4 back-to-back Super Bowls in the 90s. One of the most revolutionary offenses with the K-Gun offense, right? Here's the thing. Marv Levy couldn't motivate his team the way Jimmy Johnson could, right? Or the way Joe Gibbs could, right? So I get it in that facet, but this is college football. And if we're going to sit here and look at teams and evaluate teams and the people at the collegiate level, and I'm sure because of contract disputes, you can't have somebody like a Joe Klatt come on there. But hell, Josh Pate do what he want. Yeah, he got the partnership with Yahoo Sports, and he got the partnership with On3, but he do what he want. Why don't I have him come on the show and talk college ball? I know why you wouldn't do it, because you guys were getting embarrassed trying to talk college football with him. You would. So have a Jay Crane come on there. Have JD Pickell come on there. Have somebody other than, because you guys always got Paul Feinbaum at it. I got the utmost respect for Paul Feinbaum, but Mad Dog, you sit here and go crazy because Penn State is number 2 in the country. Well, who got better constructed rosters? I think Clemson is the only other roster you can say that has a better constructed roster. So you upset because Penn State is number 2 in the polls, bro? Because of your beef with James Franklin? And say roster talent isn't what matter, but he thinks Drew Aller's clutch and thinks history? So Drew Aller isn't clutch. And did you not see the USC game last year? Oh, we don't want to talk about that, right? So you sit there and say, oh, somebody's not clutch, but how many of his games did you watch? Don't sit there and go off of the Notre Dame game where he did play abysmal, and he will tell you he played abysmal, but say, oh, he's not clutch. Well, USC had them. USC was up. And it took their offense and it took the coaching staff belief in Drew Aller for them to come back. Make no mistake about it. Y'all sit here and want to talk college football. Make sure you know what you're talking about. There was a guy, and I have the utmost respect for Colin Coward. There was a guy on his show last year, and I watched the clip, and CFB Nation watched the clip like, yo, what is he talking about? He don't even know what he's talking about. So be careful to all of you major networks who you decide to bring on your show to talk college football. Make sure they are well informed, because I'm telling you, you had somebody else on that show, they would have challenged you on that opinion, dog. Mad Dog, they would have challenged you on that opinion, and they would have made you look bad. I'm not going to lie. You are great for that network. Most of the shorts I see are Mad Dog shorts when he's going crazy. There's a reason he's called Mad Dog. He has a job when he's there. His job is to get mad and to get clicks, right? And keep people entertained. You're great at that. Just be sure you know what you're talking about. Penn State, we shouldn't be looking at roster talent. If we're looking and we're doing a ranking, not a ranked team, then we're looking at roster talent. We're 100% looking at roster talent. And their roster talent is a top 3 roster in the country. If this team was in Athens, you wouldn't say anything about it. You wouldn't have a beef with it at all. There's some people that we really respect in this field that has Penn State extremely high. Penn State will vote really well in CFB Nation's poll. I can tell you that right now. So to say that James Franklin, he's over. Yo, we this same talk we was just talking about Ryan Day, right? Some of the same beliefs, right? Come on, man, get out of here with that. Number 5th story for our Into the News segment. WVU, West Virginia loses Jaylan Knighton, and I hate this for this kid, bro. I really do. After stints in Coral Gables and Dallas with SMU, going to WVU and playing a Rich Rod offense, this could have been magnificent for him on his, plight of making the NFL. This could have truly been great for him. And to be academically ineligible, I'm not sure if there's anything he could have done over the summer to reverse that. I told you guys about my own academic issues, my first year in school, only because, I had to learn how to study and all of that, and because I was goofing off. But I don't know if it's because it's new coach. I just don't know how this wasn't caught on. Like, somebody didn't catch up to this. Like, you figured you'll have somebody on your staff paying attention to everybody's grades, right? Like, I don't know. I feel that way. Like, I would want that done, So, I don't know. The way Rich Rod was talking yesterday, it sounds like he'll be out. He said he doesn't think that, he'll be able to play this season, but that's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking for him. That's heartbreaking for the school. And I don't know how that works because I think this was the last year of his eligibility. So, him being ruled ineligible, will he be allowed to come back and play next year? I don't know. But we'll certainly play out. And it will certainly play out, and we'll figure this out because, they play Robert Morris. They open up with that, and then they got the backyard brawl with Pitt. Two really good teams. And our last story is Mike Elko sees a jump from Aggie secondary. You can always tell a defensive-minded head coach versus an offensive-minded head coach. When I was at FAU's fall camp, where was that, Kidley, with the quarterbacks? And he always finds his way near the quarterbacks because he's talking them up. He's critiquing everything they doing. They can do 99.9 things right. That 0.001 that they did wrong, he's going to tell them about. And I've been at Virginia Tech fall camp. And where will you see Brent Pry at? He's with the defense, with the linebackers. That's what you're going to see. You can always tell. So to hear Elko talking up his secondary, it's like he's a defensive-minded coach. So a defensive-minded coach that is the head coach is always going to naturally find his way over. Because, all of the practices are broke down in, periods. In each periods, you work on different groups. Like, you'll have, the running backs working, the offensive line. Tight ends and backs typically work together, or the tight ends and wide receivers work together. The quarterbacks, doing what they normally do. And then, of course, they have team sessions, individual sessions, stretch sessions. That's the way it works. But, always, most of the times, when they get to the team session, they'll kick you out. Or they won't show you too much. That's just the way it works. Virginia Tech, believe it or not, showed us more than FAU showed us. Zach Kitlier wasn't nobody in there. He just didn't. But, I don't blame him because they're installing stuff. It's just the way you got to be at the collegiate level. But, Texas A&M pass defense ranked 90th last year. So, of course, you want to see, hey, we're ahead of the game. We're trajecting in the way that we need to traject in. So, this is important. But it's always funny to me how defensive-minded coaches, you go to their fall camps, they're going to find their way with the defense. Offensive-minded coaches, they're going to be right by the quarterbacks. It's just how it works. So those are our Into the News segments. Let's get right into the Governor Reacts segment, and we're going to react to the JP poll. We'll be right back. All righty. Governor Reacts. Did I actually have this under the wrong thing? I think I had this set up under the wrong thing. I sure did. So just ignore the lower third. Actually, I'll fix it right now. Because I had the wrong lower third. Well, I had it right. I just put it on the wrong thing. So let's go ahead and fix this real quick. This is the Reacts. There we go. Booyah. It's fixed. So, Governor Reacts, we're going to look at the JP poll. Like today, I knew it would come down to either the JP poll or Bud Elliott's one. We'll react to his sometime next week because tomorrow our reaction will be the CFB Nations poll. And debut on that on the show. So, that's going to be pretty cool. So, keep in mind that JP poll and so many people, and I feel like Josh Pate, poor him, he got to explain this so many times. This isn't a ranking. This is a rating. There is a difference. There's a huge difference. If I tell you to rank the top 25 team is, you're going to currently rank them based on where you think they're at, right here, right now. Rating is broken down into a bunch of different categories, and a lot of times you use a program like Google Sheets or Excel to figure out these numbers, and it's based on the metrics that you provide for the system. That's the difference. Okay, Ford explained that to me back in 2022 when I had him on the show. I do need to get him on the show again. He has the best ratings that is out there. He'll break them down. He'll explain them to people. People will give him crap for his ratings, not understanding that they're ranking. He will still take the time and patience and explain it to them, even though some of these people are just plain stupid, right? But you know, it is what it is. So we gotta look at this. Josh Pate JP Poll coming in at number 20, SMU, 19 Kansas State, 18 Tennessee, 17 South Carolina, 16 Michigan, 15 USC. Great job, Pate. USC at 15, I like that a lot. 14 is Ole Miss, 13 Texas A&M, 12 LSU, 11 Miami, 10 Oklahoma, 9 Florida, 8 Clemson, 7 Oregon, 6 Notre Dame, 5 Alabama, 4 Penn State, 3 Georgia, 2 Ohio State, 1 Texas. So the first thing that comes to mind for me is, why is JP Poll's metrics rating Tennessee so high? That's the first thing that I think about. The first thing that's eye-popping to me is I wish there was a key. And, of course, people who use ratings don't want to give this information out because then, you know, other people will start doing it. I don't know why this thing is such a secret, sacred thing, but I would love to hear what the metrics are for the rating. What numbers, you know, are the, you know, computers using? So if it's based on the way that I think it is, this has to be a lot formulated with last year. But Tennessee, to me, as far as rankings on the top 25 team, as far as ratings, I can see it. That will be my first thing. I love seeing USC up here. Really do. I'm truly ecstatic about Penn State. I'm sorry, not Penn State, about USC being up here. But let's actually go in reverse order. We'll talk about we already listed the teams, but like number 1, Texas being number 1 on this list shouldn't be a surprise based on the success that they had since Steve Sarkisian has been there. They have had to revamp the roster a little bit because, of course, year in and year out, teams like Texas just always going to lose a lot of talent, right? But, you know, we got to keep the ratings in mind. Week 1, it would not surprise me with this rating system, and some of y'all are going to be upset, but just because you might not fully get it. But after week 1, no matter who loses that Texas or Ohio State game, right, you may not see any movement because that's the way that ratings work. So let's say it's in Columbus, right, I think, and let's say Texas go in there and lose by a field goal. Texas still may be number 1 next week. That's just the way that ratings work. So what was interesting to me is that the JP Poll ratings like Georgia better than Josh Pate did in his rankings. I believe in his post-spring rankings, he had Georgia at like 11. It was like 11 he had Georgia at. And you know, I believe he's a Georgia fan. I'm quite certain he's a Georgia fan. At least he grew up in the area, so I think he's a Georgia fan. So that's really interesting to me. Also, if you look at his rankings, he's high on Georgia Tech from a rankings perspective, but from a ratings perspective, Georgia Tech doesn't crack the top 20. One thing that Josh always does that I like, he always top 20. Even with his rankings, he did 20. And I know traditionally he says he doesn't like doing rankings. He prefers the rating side of things. So this is interesting to see where, you know, some of these teams are. Kansas State, I like Kansas State a lot. I really do. We will be going to the Little Apple this year. Probably more than once, to be honest with you. I'm excited for their team. I just want to see them take the next step. And Dylan Edwards, I'm excited for him this year, him being RB1. Because he wasn't RB1 last year. It was DJ Giddens. But I want to see where he's at. I really do. Because I think Dylan Edwards is phenomenal, especially in the screen game, pass game, return game. But, you know, if he has to get 20 totes in a game, does he have the ability to do that? That's really my question, to be honest with you. So, Ole Miss is at 14 in this rating system. And Ole Miss was one of those teams earlier on in the year. I had heartbreak from last season. But, you know, the more I think about Austin Simmons and the abilities that he have, the more I just look at this team, the more I kind of feel better about the team. I really do. And Lane Kiffin has really figured it out. He really has. I think he has a good grip on his coaching thing. I think he's comfortable in Oxford. as well, because he's had opportunities to go elsewhere. But I just think he's comfortable there. Florida, where you guys at with Florida? I know some people think Florida is like the team that is going to be rated high by everybody or ranked high by everybody, but the team that can go 6-6. I feel strongly on my stance on Florida. That offensive line will keep Lagway healthy. 1-2 punch at running back and Ball and Jackson. Plethora of wide receivers, stout defense. I like this team. And Billy Napier showed last year. He truly showed the type of stones he got. Like that, no guts, no glory. His job was on the line. He was dead man walking. And he's still standing like Elton John. So, yeah, you got to look at that, and you got to feel good for this team in Gainesville. You really do. Oklahoma. Venmo Gate. What my boy Boomer coined the term money line material. That's what they're gonna be calling them in Norman this year, money line material. I like Oklahoma. I think I told you guys before, I'm currently in the playoff right now in one of my college football 26 leagues. This is the biggest league I'm in. It's like 20 some odd people. Just won my first playoff game. Waiting for my second playoff game. Yeah, we dominated that first playoff game. So I like Oklahoma a lot this year. The system is really friendly to Miami. Really is. I'm trying to figure out why. Let me ask you guys a question. You guys think SMU is better than Louisville? And that's just a generalized question. It's not based on a rating, because this is a rating system. But, like, do you guys think SMU is better than Louisville? You guys think SMU is better than Georgia Tech? You think SMU is better than Duke? My answer for all of that is no, no, and no. Because I am big on Duke, big on Georgia Tech, and I think Louisville is that team that's going to compete against Clemson for the conference. I want it to be Miami. I don't see it. Something's going on in Coral Gables. Like, Mario Cristobal is just talking up all his players, bro. Like, talking about how great they're doing, and, you know, that's part of your job as a brand ambassador. But when it's overkill and it feels like a little bit of overkill, I don't believe you. You need more people. And we're going to find out, because what happened in Gainesville last year, right? When the U marched into Gainesville and beat the crap out of Florida, I think the reverse is going to happen. We're going to see Florida march into Coral Gables and put hands and feet on Miami. I promise you that's what we're going to see this year. And there's no love lost, because they beat the crap out of Florida last year. So if you think that Billy Napier and company don't want to go in there and put up a 50 burger on them, you crazy. That's what I'm expecting. That's what I'm anticipating. I feel like Notre Dame, I love to see the love that Notre Dame is getting, because there was a time period that people wanted Marcus Freeman out of the building. After the Marshall game, you talk to a fan in South Bend, hey, bring Brian Kelly back. We'll take him. Like, we don't want bro, but figure it out. What I always say defense coordinators, at least elite defense coordinators, should do, go ahead and get you a hot shot offensive coordinator. That's what he was able to do on Mike Denbrock. He was able to make it happen. So that's where I'm at with this poll. I like it overall. Few teams I have question about, but it's the college football fan in me. It's not the analytical side of it. It's just me looking at this and say, hey, I wonder what LSU is going to look like at the end of the year. Where's Michigan going to be at the end of the year? Those are the things that I'm saying to myself. So overall, as far as a rating system, these ratings aren't bad at all. But don't be surprised after week 1, week 2, there's some upsets and you don't see movement. That's the way that rating system work. They stick to their metrics. The heck of what you think or how we see a lot of movement with like the AP poll and the coaches poll, they stick to their guns. They stick to the metrics. That's how rating systems work. So shout out to Josh for this. We're going to take a quick break, and then right after that, we're going to get right into a governor ruling segment. I watched episode 3. And episode 3, A+ in my mind, we're going to talk about it right here after these messages. Look at you out here using all these other sports books, and you ain't even using the best one. BetUS. Get 125% match bonus when you use the promo code CFB Nation. Yeah, you heard me correctly. 125% match bonus on your first deposit using that code CFB Nation. We know that college football is in the offseason, even though we don't celebrate that. You know, CFB Nation, we do college football 24/7. But there are plenty of things for you guys to bet on.
Who will have the most wins? OKC Thunder or Cleveland Cavaliers? Can Luka and LeBron make it all mesh to make it to the play-in tournament? Maybe you're a college basketball guy ready to risk it all for Florida to make it to the big dance.
Basketball isn't for you? Maybe you're a football guy. Well, BetUS got you covered with this year's UEFA Championship. Can Liverpool or Barcelona win it all? Will Erling Haaland or Harry Kane lead their teams to victory?
May is going to get popping when the Kentucky Derby hits town. BetUS has you covered in that way too, with all major horse racing events. Point is, type in that promo code CFB Nation and go get that money.
Alrighty, we are back. If you don't know, now you know. CFB Nation is going on tour this year, and if you would like to sponsor us on the tour, please reach out to me at Leverett KT. That's LEVERETT KT at THECFBNation.com. And if you want us to wear your merch while we're out there, we're going to be at really big games. 6 games in week 1 alone. So we're looking for somebody. So we will call the tour your name of your company tour 2025. That's what we're looking for. Just reached out to us. Already got a few sponsorships under the way. Always looking for more, man. We truly are. But let's get into this segment. Any Given Saturday Thoughts, episode 3. Episode 3, man. It was a really good episode. It really was. And not gonna lie, that Florida episode was dope too. I think the Florida episode was more of a emotional episode. Still a rockstar episode, but this episode I think was the best episode overall. If I'm being honest. If this episode of Any Given Saturday was a fight movie, it'll definitely be Rocky. It'll definitely be Rocky. It gave you the Rocky vibes the entire episode. Against all odds. Swinging to the final bell. We know the round 14 theme music. Like, I felt like they could have played that throughout the entire episode. Refusing to stay down is the vibes that I got this entire episode. And again, I had that very same feeling. I wanted to go watch the next episode. No, I'm not going to do that. I mapped it out. We did 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 4 and 5. I may watch 4 and 5 today. We'll see, but tomorrow's episode is going to be mostly about the CFB Nation poll. I want to try to have a few guests come on tomorrow, too. So I'll reach out to a few people because there's some pretty important people that are pollist on our poll. I don't know if they want their, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if they want to be, like, said that they're part of our poll, but it'll be dope. So I'm going to try to reach out to a few people, get a few people on the show tomorrow as we release the CFB Nation poll. I think that'd be dope for episode 67. So, boom. So we start in Nashville. Vanderbilt head coach Clark Lee and GM Barton Simmons, childhood best friends since the 7th grade. People don't understand what stuff like that mean, bro. We gonna stop right there. Like, when you have friends that you've been friends with since your childhood, like where I'm from, right? I was born in Washington, Southeast Washington, D.C. I grew up in Glass Manor, and Glass Manor is right on the Southeast D.C. line. And in some hoods and neighborhoods, you have gangs, whether it's culturally related gangs or you have like Bloods, Crips, Latin Kings, all of those type of stuff. Where I'm from, we don't do none of that. We don't. So if somebody up here say they a Blood or Crip, we're going to laugh at them. Not to disrespect the gang, but just because we don't do that here. That's not what we do. The people you grew up with on your block is your people. That's 100% your people. And you ain't going to let nothing happen to your people. That's the way it works. I've known Mike his entire life. Our parents grew up together. My parents met on Leverett. So when you see me put that lever in front of my name, it means something. It 100%, that's the block I grew up on. A lot of people will be nervous around it. Wouldn't want to be around it more than 5 minutes like, hey, I'm getting the heck away from here. It's always where I felt the most comfortable. Always. It really had, because it's that type of love that you have on there. And it means so much. So hearing that Barton Simmons, general manager of Vanderbilt, and Clark Lee have been childhood best friends since the 7th grade, that hit home. Both of them Tennessee born and bred. and the only Commodore fans in their friend group. Everybody else like the Vols. And they got clowned for rooting for the underdog. Now they're building one brick by brick. And not on empty slogans, but on the pillars. This is why I love this. This is why I love when that fourth wall is broken. They are built on the pillars of, Clark Lee said this, and this right here is going to stick with me. Discipline, respect, and spirit. That's the pillars he's trying to build Vandy football on. That right there just get me excited, bro. It gets me so excited because discipline, you can lose ball games from having a lack of discipline. Not doing what you're supposed to do can cost the team with a lack of discipline, right? Respect, having a mutual respect for the people that you're playing against. A lot of that goes within discipline. A mutual respect for the coaches that you play for the fan base that you represent, your boosters and your donors that you represent, for your teammates, having that respect and spirit. That's being that brand ambassador. Like, man, when I put this uniform on and I see that V on my chest, man, I'm ready to give out my all. If this is the last game I ever played, they're going to say I played with mad spirit. So the fact that Clark Lee is building this, and Barton Simmons, I don't want to forget him, they're building this on those pillars of discipline, respect, and spirit, that gave me chills. And you guys are probably like, Governor, why did I give you chills? Because you look at these three words, they mean so much. Discipline. That word comes with a lot of nuance. Respect. Earn respect. You got to give respect, right? But respect, I die for mine. I made that decision when I was in the 7th grade. I will die for my respect. Where I'm from, that's a lot of us was the same way. We will die for our respect, bro. Play with me if you want to. Right? And spirit. You know? Like that right there, and the guy we have on the screen right there, Diego Pavia, he embodies all three of those. So does Clark Lee. So when we hear in the offseason, Diego Pavia is talking, him and Clark Lee really believe Vandy could win the national championship. It's not fake. It's not an empty saying or empty statement. It's something that they truly believe. They truly believe in the back of their minds and in their hearts and in their spirit that they can win the championship this year. They feel like they can win the SEC this year. They truly feel like they're the team to beat in Tennessee this year. Like, when you build a program on these pillars, you have to respect it. And that's why we can see them heading in the right direction. Right? This dude, Diego Pavia, the definition of locked in. 3 a.m. workouts, right? Their gym is closed. He'll find a way to sneak in. Find a way to get in. He said, y'all not going to stop me from working out at 3 a.m. I think he said he broke a door a couple times. And then he said he'll work out right in front of their face, like people looking like, what are you doing here? And he's like, yeah. Yeah, because if you want to be great, this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do right here. That right there spoke volumes. That right there spoke so many volumes to me. It really did. 3 a.m., you locked in. I wake up early every morning. Even the nights I go to bed late, I still wake up early. It's embedded in me to wake up around 3:45, 3:50 in the morning. It's embedded. When I get up out of my bed, it is embedded for me to make my bed. I wish I could pan the camera to my room right now. You will see my room is clean and my bed is made. It's embedded for me when I wake up in the morning at 3:45, that I wake up at 3:45 in the morning, that I make my bed in the morning, that I pray, and that I put on some gospel music. That is my recipe. It is embedded in me, right? So the fact that this kid, 3 in the morning, you're a college student. I know you're an older college student, Diego. You've been playing college ball for a long time, for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? But this kid is just locked in. Undersized, doesn't have a strong arm, but he plays with a tremendous amount of discipline, respect, and spirit. He's going to give you his all. He said nobody was telling him no. Imagine looking at some people who are in important positions and say, no, I don't care. I'm working out at 3 a.m. If you want to be elite, hey, man, I know Ty Simpson's probably up working out, right? Arch Man's probably up working out. Yeah, yo, if you want to be the best, this is how you got to be. And this episode didn't shy away from the noise. I feel like the South Carolina LSU one did, because they omitted the pass interference call. But this one didn't. Media chirp that Vandy fans are more about Tennessee losing than Vanderbilt winning. Paul Feinbaum called them an overpriced stock. Yo, do you guys know how disrespectful that is? You called me an overpriced stock. Do we need to step outside? Right? I mean, that's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody call my team or my program an overpriced stock. You guys see me, bro. And I don't discriminate. I don't care how old Paul Feinbaum is. You call my program an overpriced stock, when I see you, I'm going to put hands on you. Right? That's how we feel if we brand ambassadors. I'm just saying the things that people don't want to say. It's okay. It's all right. That's what I'm here for, right? And then came the moment. It's this moment, right? Every time you have a moment in time, and due to the nature of the neighborhood that I grew up in, we were in a lot of fights. That's just part of it. You know, the older heads always made you fight them just so you was ready to fight at school. It just is what it is. But in those fights, I could always tell the difference in the people who was ready and the people who weren't, because there's a look in your eyes. They ain't saying too much. You can read their body language. I said, oh, yeah, buddy about to bring it. Let me back up because I'm smaller. So let me get my punches off and back up, right? But they showed Diego Pavia this clip from Nick Saban. The only stadium not difficult to play in the SEC is Vanderbilt. You'll probably have more fans there than they will. You see, Diego had the, you know, the little Jordan little gif when he's going like this and he's locked in, right? Diego eyes changed. He said, oh, yeah. Like, I feel like he was Rocky Balboa in that moment, right? You could see it. He went straight into sicko mode. That became fuel. Like, this kid is wired differently. A lot of us, like Diego Pavia, people like me root for him because I done had Napoleon complex my whole life. What you say, I swing on you. Shut up. You know what I'm saying? That's always been my mantra, because I decided in 7th grade I would die for my respect. I decided it then. It just is what it is, right? So Diego Pavia, he's one of those guys, man. Like, that's the quarterback I want to play with, because you gonna put it on the line. And him and Eli have such a balancing, like, you can tell they're roommates, you can tell they're best friends, because you got this one kid who's tall as heck, big as heck, right? And he's the cool, calm, and collected one. And then you got Diego. He's the short, fiery one to just be saying crazy things, but they balance each other out so well. So I definitely enjoy the camaraderie that they have in the episode. Like, and Eli's a stud, man. Eli, if he has a good year this year, don't be surprised if he's the first tight end taken off the board this year. So that was really interesting to me. And then Cinema Gold, right? And this is what this show's been able to do. This series been able to do. Cinema Gold, each and every episode has Cinema Gold. So then playing that clip, and then Diego was like, oh, yeah, from that, right? And then seeing the way that Vanderbilt took down number 1 Alabama at home in Nashville. And I remember that week 6, right? Week 6 was crazy, but we'll get on to a little bit. We'll talk a little bit more about week 6, because I said this might be the best, week we've had in about 20 years. That's how strongly I felt about it, right? At the time period. And I should have looked at my notes. This next episode, I'm going to look at my notes from Overreaction Monday to see where my mindset was, because a lot of times that'll help me out. Alrighty, then this episode took us to Fayetteville, Arkansas. Same week, same magic. Week 6 of 2024 might have been the best, week of college football. It's up there with some of the weeks that we had back in 2007. It's certainly up there. Sam Pittman, the Arkansas head coach, carries this quiet confidence that doesn't always translate outside the building, but inside of the building, his players believe and the staff believes. It's cool. He's like that cool, calm, collected. Really is. Like the zen that we speak of with Phil Jackson, but I think it's a little different. I think Sam Pittman don't want to show that he cocky, but his quiet confidence speaks loudly, even though he don't say too much, right? It's like the Beanie Siegel song, I don't do much. You know what I'm saying? But Pittman dropped one of the most profound lines in this episode. We had a lot of great ones, right? We had, Paul Feinbaum called it Vandy, overpriced stock. We had the Nick Saban quote. Josh Pate appeared in another episode without appearing in another episode. They used a soundbite of his for that. And I think that'll be a continued thing. But this is one of the most profound things I heard a coach say. And it's one of the things you don't necessarily think about. Like, you hear it, but you don't think about it. You don't actively think about it, right? He says this: if I get fired, my entire staff gets fired, including the admin, the assistant for Sam Pittman. They've got 2 weeks to pack it up. So you're not just coaching for your job, you're coaching for everybody's job. Now, we so easily, and I do it too, and I mean, I'm going to continue to do it. That's my job, to be honest, right? But we always so easily talk about who's on the hot seat, who's getting fired. And I'll continue to do it. Like I said, I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm not going to stop doing it. But what I will be more cognizant of is like, dang, they get fired. He was talking about this admin who was helping him out, getting him ready and prepared for the day. It's like, yo, she loses her job too. Hey, like, college football is cutthroat, bro. Like, why Shorty got to lose her job too, right? Like, that's where we're at with this. So, like I said, you are coaching for everybody's job. That was so profound by Sam Pittman. That really stuck with me in the episode. That's perspective. That's weight. And when Arkansas went out and upset Tennessee, Pittman didn't just win a game. He kept his program and his people intact. This wasn't just an episode about football. It was about relationships, that spans over decades. It's about belief, the odds that say no chance, and about how weak, like 1 week in the SEC, can shake the sport to its core. And that's what Week 6 did last year. We're going to hurry up and got to an... I completely had a segment slated for yesterday. We didn't even get to it because that's how much I've been enjoying watching this any given Saturday. So we're going to hurry up and do our Around the Nation segment real quick, do a quick fall camp intel, then we're going to get out of here. So we'll be right back. Alrighty, Around the Nation fall camp intel. Shout out to my boy Nino. I got a lot of this intel from him. He has shared it in our group chat. CFB Nation's group chat. Yo, so top tier. It is so top tier because I'm always on top of my game. Listen, I do 5-hour shows a week. You have to be on top of your game to do 5-hour shows a week. You're like, yo, it's only an hour, right? I tell you this, and I tell you what. You prepare notes for an hour show, go live, right? Do the show, do your set design, do your thumbnail. You know what I'm saying? Prepare the episode, do all of that stuff, and come back and tell me how difficult it is. We doing it 5 times a week, though. You know what I'm saying? It ain't easy. I promise you that. Do I enjoy it? Yes. But those 3 pillars that Coach Clark Lee was talking about, discipline, spirit, and respect, yes, I love those. Yeah, we taking those. So let's go ahead. Shout out to Nino. I got a lot of this information for him. Some of this information I got on my own. But fall camp intel, this is just the facts. Nico, Iamaleava already special. Do I look surprised? No. I already know what the kid was going to do against all odds. You don't just treat a kid that way and think he's not going to have a chip on his shoulder. Of course. Staff includes NFL experience GM Kerry Darlington, assistant GM Stephen Price, and offensive coordinator Tino Ciceri. Huge fan of him. Internal belief he can become an early round NFL draft pick. Bruins projected win total. Go take this right now. Ding, 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 5.5. They are going bowling. Do not be surprised if they win 7 games next year. Right? So, Quasi Gilmer, he's going to be one of the targets, but Mikey Matthews is who I'm looking at. I'm buying a lot of stock. Georgia, best wide receiver room in over a decade. This is fall camp intel we're hearing. Quarterback Gunnar Stockton, I believe, benefits from an elite wide receiver group, possibly Georgia's best. Some people are saying in almost 15 years, right? Key portal at Zachariah Branch, you got to know how to use him. He is dynamic with the ball in his hands. If you can get him the ball in space, look out. Multi-dimensional weapon, explosive plays in scrimmage, and long kick returns. Noah Thomas, Texas A&M, 6'5", 8 tutties last year. Supporting cast, Kobe Young, Dylan Bell, London Humphreys. This is one of the better wide receiver rooms they've had in a very long time because they've just been able to get out a lot of production out of the elite defense, a smart quarterback that knows not to turn over the ball, running back by committee. That's what they've been able to do, and they still have that running back committee. Now they have some weapons on the outside. Gunnar Stockton should be able to produce in this offense. Coming in number 3 in our fall camp, we are heading to Baton Rouge. Defense could match the offense. Garrett Nussmeier leads one of the SEC's top offense. Defense is expected to be much improved from last year's injury play unit. That was 11th in the SEC. They still improved from the year before. Key returns additions, linebacker Harold Perkins. He's back from season-ending injury. Cornerback Mansour Delane, Virginia Tech transfer. really played well in the scrimmage. Defensive lineman Bernard Gooden, USF transfer, disruptive in camp, and then safety A.J. Hawkley, Houston transfer, 5 interceptions in 2024. Yes, we know that, LSU's going to be good. That surprises nobody. Now, we're leaving Baton Rouge. You're heading into Tuscaloosa. Ty Simpson, long road pays off. He chose the road less travel. It's nothing wrong with the archaic, antiquated method of starting in college football. Go to a program, trust the process. No matter who they bring in, trust the process, and you will get your time. He's got 3 years in Tuscaloosa without a start. That's rare in the transfer era. Turn down NIL and transfer opportunities. Work with quarterback tutor Thomas Morris to improve. But, with Ryan Grubb and the wide receivers he have on the outside, Ty Simpson is going to produce. He was my MVP of the spring. I continue to believe that this team in Tuscaloosa is going to be damn good. And if you don't think that they're going to compete for the SEC, they're going to absolutely compete for the SEC. That should surprise nobody. And shout out, man. I love to hear about legacy athletes doing well. E.J. Warner named a starter. He's the son of Kurt Warner, of course. Third school in 4 seasons, Temple, Rice, and Fresno State. 2022, he's AC Rookie of the Year at Temple, 2,000 passing yards. In 2022 and 2023, he started all but one game for Rice last year. Did have 2,700 yards, 17 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. One quarterback battle to replace Mikey Keene, who transferred to Michigan first season under Coach Mike Ince, 2-time FCS national champ at North Dakota State University and former USC associate head coach. So, shout out to them. Just had to get y'all some quick fall camp intel. Why do these episodes go so fast, right? I truly don't know. I ask myself that all the time, but I really don't know. I have no clue. Another fun episodes in the book. I hope you all are truly productive with the rest of your day. May the rest of your day be the best of your day. Also, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1:30 Central Time. College Football Showdown is back. So me and my brother from another mother, Jaylen, will be live with our 99th episode of College Football Showdown. We should be giving you guys these every Thursday, and I'm going to try to get Jaylen to do Tuesdays as well, or at least have a rotating guest on Tuesdays. I don't mind holding it down on Tuesdays, so make sure you guys check that out over at the CFB Nation. Make sure you guys go to YouTube, subscribe at the CFB Nation. If you truly love college football, YouTube, search at THE Nation. Best community post in all of college football. There's nobody, I don't care how big their platform is. Look me in my eyes when I say this. There is not a better community post members out there better than CFB Nation, because I don't care what we put up there. People was arguing. People are going to always argue in the comments. So please check that out. Tomorrow is a really huge day for us. We're releasing our inaugural preseason poll. We will be releasing this poll every week. We have some of the who's who in the industry who are actually pollist on this with us. I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about our sponsorship with Bull Rush. We're kicking off our Build Your Own competition campaign with them. It's going to be really dope. 14 amazing weeks of college football. You got the opportunity to win $100 every week. You really do. So that, you should get into it. And then also you can talk about it during the community post. So we'll have that posted, at our community post on Twitter, everywhere else, Reddit, wherever else. But I'm truly excited for this season. I'm truly excited for you all, the 1%ers who've been watching me go live, multiple episodes a week since April. I'm not going to let y'all down. I'm going to hold y'all down, man. We got 6 week 1 games we're going to. I'm going to try my very best. I know that Thursday night game, I will go live after that. It's going to be difficult to get y'all these episodes week 1 because I want to get y'all 5 every week. I'll try my best to get 4 that week, just with the travel schedule. It's just so hectic. Starting to get a lot of credentials rolling in. I'm truly excited, man. As I always like to say, there are no more victories in the sport that survive in advance. That's why college football has the greatest regular season. And until next time, we will see you guys. Same bad time, same bad channel. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. here. And then don't forget, at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at CFB Nation, we have College Football Showdown today. You all take care. Do something nice for somebody you normally wouldn't do. Please, please, please. Just be nice, man. Show love, man. Be compassionate. Empathy is, I don't know what happened to this world. We used to be empathetic. We used to help each other out. Like, on Friday, you remember, you said, yo, you got peanut butter, no jelly? Like, neighbors used to really help out neighbors back in the day. That's how it always was. Remember, if you was missing an ingredient, you can come to my grandmother, Miss Lightfoot House, and get whatever ingredient you need. We've lost that in this world. I ain't trying to get too political, but it is what it is, man. Y'all take care. Governor of college football, we're going to recap ACC.
Hey, that's
Two great
CJ on
defensive
the
minds.
track.
They have to be better on that side of the ball. Appreciate you checking out this video. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and also don't forget to check out the other content that we have here, there, and everywhere.